Hello everybody, Tat Londono here, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Boy, do I have a treat for you today. For those of you who are curious about becoming real estate agents, for those of you who are stuck as a real estate agent, don't know what to do, you're not making money, and for those of you who are really young, don't know what to do with your career, boy, do I have the guest for you. This is just an inspirational story for all real estate agents and brokers. Today, I have a special guest. He started from nothing. He's only 22 years old, and he is a successful realtor. All this happened in just 6 months. Remember, guys, I always say real estate is the fastest way to make the most amount of money in the least amount of time, but you gotta love it. I'm just gonna let him do the talking, guys. Jack!
Hey!
Mr. Jack Hugh, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here. Just so that everyone doesn't know who I am, I am a residential real estate broker out in Gatineau and Ottawa with Remax Direct. I do residential, I do rentals, I do everything. I'll go anywhere. I've been out all the way to Montreal to sell a house in Saint-Bruno. And yeah, I'm pretty much versatile agent, French, English. If you're a gamer, I play video games. I know how that works as well.
That's important. Many
yeah.
of the people watching here are gamers who want to become real estate agents one day. But let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
So how old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
You're 22 years old,
Yeah.
and you are dressed up in a suit, beautiful watch.
Thank you.
You're a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Tell me how this happened. Like, how did you go from serving coffee at Starbucks, playing video games, you know, getting tattoos every once in a while, to becoming a real estate agent?
Yeah.
But wait, a successful real estate agent.
I try. Try and improve every single day.
So tell me, let's get started. I'm very excited to share this story with everyone. Okay, go.
So the whole story, like I mentioned when we first met, I was like serving coffee for like $20 an hour.
Wait. So if you serve coffee at Starbucks, you get paid $20 an hour?
Yeah, at the time, like
$20 an hour to serve coffee? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I actually had like a lot of benefits. I had mental, I had dental, I had doctor stuff. I was going to school at the time when I started, so they were helping with tuition.
So what school were you going to?
I was going to Algonquin College in Ottawa for pre-health to start like getting my nursing certificate to be an ER nurse.
So your dream when you were a teenager, well, you were a teenager.
Yeah.
You were 19.
Yeah, I was, when I started school at Algonquin, I was actually 18 years old.
So you said, my dream is to become a nurse.
I wouldn't say it was a dream. I would say my main dream was just I wanted to help people. Like I've always been like I wanted to help, like my brother and my sister. Like I'm the oldest of 3 kids. So there's me, my sister, and my brother. And me and my sister are 2 years apart, and me and my brother are actually like 5 years apart. So I was always like ended up being like the one to protect them from like bullies, and then they bullied me with names and stuff like that. like the younger sibling, you know, they tease you. Everyone that has younger siblings, they know what's up. So I just wanted to help people. And I found that at the time, the best way to do that, I was like, all right, I like working long hours. I want to work with my hands. I don't want to sit at a desk. I don't want to be like in an office all day.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Nursing it's fairly cheap for what I was looking at. And basically that's what people were telling me to do. A lot of my guidance counselors
They say you'd be a great nurse.
Exactly. They're like, oh, you're personable. You like talking to people. Like, you know, you're young, you're tall. You know, it'd be, you know,
Entrepreneur was out of the question, but nurse.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, my mom.
And we need nurses. We love our nurses.
So I actually had people telling me not to continue. And my mother, who's like one of my biggest supporters now, she's actually been a hairdresser since she was 18 years old. And she's like 55 now.
Yeah.
So she's been running her own business for like better part of 40 years. And so when I told her, hey, listen, I don't want to go to school anymore. I want to work full time. So the original reason why I actually got into Starbucks was because I just didn't want to go back to school. Like, I don't want to say that school is...
So you were studying to become a nurse.
Yes.
And you had Starbucks as a part-time job.
Yes. Well, I was technically working full-time hours.
You were working full-time hours. You were in school.
Yeah.
And Starbucks was helping you pay your school?
So with Starbucks, you have to like apply to a program for like, it's like financial aid in a sense. That's what I was told when I first got there. kind of my fault for not doing a bit more research, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I had enough money saved up where I didn't need the financial aid, and I thought that money could go to people who actually needed it. And I was in a situation where I didn't. I lived at home. I had no car payments. I barely had anything to pay for.
But what you're saying is that Starbucks does offer that.
Yeah, they do that. I don't know
they
if it's,
offer $20 an hour. They offer benefits.
Yeah.
They offer even to help with your tuition.
Yeah.
So it's a great corporation.
it's a great job if you're just looking to kind of like help yourself like level up in a sense.
I get it.
So I actually got raises every 6 months. It was like a 12 cents increase per hour, but that adds up if you work there for a year, like every it's like an extra like half a buck every year essentially. And it was a good first job.
And you split it's plus tips.
Yeah, it's plus tips on top of that. And then like with COVID, they actually gave me a $3 increase on my pay because I could have just gone to Ottawa and be making more.
Right.
And
but you could see how that could be interesting for an 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of pay, I would have to say, for a teenager.
Yeah. No, it's a good chunk of money. I was making $40,000 a year.
You were happy to show up to work, make money. You were in school.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
So COVID happened. That happened, and then everything just got thrown out the window. You know, the world locked down. Everything was going crazy. People were scared to leave their house. Like, you know, with Ryan, when we saw at the event, he mentioned his story was like
Ryan Serhant,
yes.
He was keynote speaker along with me at a big real estate event, and this is where I met the wonderful Jack. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the world just shut down, and I was at home. And I was just in my bed, like looking at my phone. I was like, you know what? Yeah. I said, fuck this. I'm done. I said, fuck this. I don't want to be doing this anymore.
The nurse.
Nursing. I was in my room, in the basement, on my laptop, in the dark, depressed. I was depressed. I was not happy with my life and how it was going.
Why were you depressed? Or why'd you feel depressed?
So I hated sitting down. I couldn't, I was like a bird.
You're a busybody.
I was a busybody. I would work as many hours as I could. I was working 30 hours a week plus school, and I was doing 3 hours of traveling per day to go to school. So I would take an hour and a half bus at like 5:30 a.m., go to work, open the shop, then go to school. I would be going from Ottawa to Gatineau. Like,
they must have loved you.
I mean, I was pretty intense as a worker. I was like always like on time, ready to show up. There's a couple times I showed up late for other reasons, as in the bus is never on time. But yeah, so besides the fact like COVID just hit me in the chest and I got winded. And so when I got into that space, I was like, you know what? Screw this.
Why screw this? Why did you suddenly, this career, not necessarily of your dreams, but this career you had chosen because you're a helpful kind of guy.
Yeah.
Why suddenly no to that?
I just knew that I was meant for more. And it wouldn't.
And what was it about that gave you the aha moment, this is not for me?
I was just not happy. I'm like, I'm not going to be paying $5,000 a year to go do something that I hate. Like, I'd rather make money.
Why do you have to pay $5,000
tuition for school.
Oh,
yeah.
So you just hated school.
I hated school. I hated school in general, but I didn't like that program because it wasn't necessarily the best environment for me. Like, I met a bunch of great friends that I'm still in contact with today, but it's just I couldn't sit in another 2-hour lecture talk about biology. Okay. I was about to rip my hair out.
So you realized while you were going through it that this was not for you.
Exactly.
And that happens to a lot of people. And guys, if you are going through this, you could be a teenager, you could be middle-aged, you could be going through a midlife crisis, you could be going through a divorce. If you are at a point in your life where you are saying to yourself, I hate this, get out of it. Mm-hmm. You have one life to live. Yep. Get out and find something that'll make you happy. Jack?
Yes.
So you are depressed, you hate it, you decided you're quitting.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you go back to work, coffee? What happens next?
So I quit school. Well, I finished the year.
Yeah.
I didn't drop out. And I tell that to everybody.
Oh, you did drop out.
Well, it was a 1-year program and I finished the year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I still got the certificate, but I was like, I'm not going back to school. Like, screw this. I'm out. So with that, I told my parents, I'm like, listen, I'm not going back to school. My dad was like, why? I was like, I want to work. He's like, okay. Like, he was like, going around, My mom was like, She wasn't too happy about it. I'll be 100% honest, but I told her like, listen, you could not force me to go back to school. I don't care if you kick me out. I cannot go back. And I guess just from her seeing me say that, she's like, you know what?
But was it school or nursing?
It was the schooling. It was the school and the nursing. It was just the whole thing.
The whole situation.
It was the whole situation.
Wasn't working.
I wanted to get back. I was living with my grandmother, which was great, but I was, home at the house 4 days of the week. Then I was with my grandmother for 3.
It was just leaving a bad taste in your mouth.
Exactly.
You didn't feel good about it.
Yeah.
Hey, worst case scenario, you could always go back.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going anywhere.
So what happens next?
So I was at Starbucks and they gave us the go ahead to come back to work. And I was like, you know what, I have to get out of my house. Like, I gotta move. So I just started working at Starbucks full time. I was putting in a bunch of hours. I saw my friends online, but it was still pretty depressing of the situation with the world and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I just worked full time, and I met some really cool people. And funny enough, that's actually how I got my start in real estate.
So what happened?
So I met Marty Weight with Remax.
So Marty Weight is a huge team leader out of Gatineau.
Yep.
And he's handsome, he's bright, and he makes a lot of money as a real estate agent. Yeah. Go ahead.
We have like 40 people on our team now, today. So
don't confuse them. So you meet, go ahead.
So I meet Marty, and I see him coming like 3-4 times a day. And for coffee. For coffee.
By himself. Like he's going in for the coffee.
Yeah. Through drive-through. He's coming in. It's like $7 each and every single time. Yeah. And I'm like, man, what do you do? Because I see, the car. I see the suit.
What kind of car was he driving?
I think he was driving a Range Rover at the time, but then he changed to his G-Wagon. Okay. So that's a bit more memorable.
I like G-Wagons.
Yeah, G-Wagons are nice. I drove it a couple times. It's a very, very nice car, very smooth. And the watch. And I was just like, man.
What kind of watch was he wearing?
Oh, goodness. He has so many. He was...
Whatever. It was a big shiny watch.
It was shiny. Yeah. It was nice. It looked expensive, but it is what it is. But I think he was wearing a U-boat. Oh. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So he has a U-boat. So he was wearing that, and basically.
And he's going in there with the ding ding.
Yeah, he's smiling, always cheerful, because COVID happened in the big real estate boom. Yeah, he's super happy. The big real estate boom, everybody was making a bunch of money. I'm like, why won't you be happy? Be able to experience the finer things in life.
But you didn't know he was a realtor.
I didn't know. I actually was like, what do you do? I see you coming in 4 times a day, every day when I'm here. What do you do? He's like, Jack, I'm in real estate. and I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah, don't you see my face? I'm like, no, not really. That's the thing is when you don't look for it, you don't visualize, you don't see it. He's on bus stops, he's on signs everywhere, flyers, everywhere. I just didn't look at it because I wasn't looking for a real estate agent. Yeah. But the moment he said that, I drove home, and I kid you not, I saw about 7 of his signs. Wow. Most of them sold. So I was like, this is insane. These are houses going for X amount, selling within the week, and then 30 days later he's getting a paycheck. And so I started searching up real estate, how to, real estate agent, how to be millionaire by the time you're 30, and just all those videos. Ryan Serhant as well. And
they were all over the place.
They were everywhere
at the time, because that's when the big TikTok boom happened. Yeah, exactly. And then everybody started paying attention. They're like, oh my God, let's catch up to TikTok. Exactly. But we were sitting there at home. Yeah. And we weren't allowed to go to restaurants. There were rules everywhere. So a lot of people were on their phones seeing these big stories on how to get rich. And I have to say, I am guilty of it. Real estate, it's the fastest way to make most money in least time.
There you go.
Where did you get the inner strength to just say, hey man, I'm interested in what you're doing?
I just did it. I can't tell you where it was. It just happened. Sometimes when you your feet are moving, but you have no idea where you're going, and then you get to your destination. I've always wanted to be here. It was basically that. I saw Marty one day after months of talking and this and that, watching videos. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna ask him if I can shadow him for an appointment, just to see what it's like. What's the worst thing that could happen?
The worst thing is he could say no.
Exactly. So
what's the big deal if he did?
Exactly. I'm not losing anything. Worst case, he says no, and then I figure something else out.
You'll figure the same thing out, but with someone else.
Yeah, exactly. So when I met Marty, and when I saw him the next time, I was like, you know what? Next time I see Marty, I'm going to see him. And then 3 times following that, I'm going to do it. He was either on the phone, he had his assistant come and get his coffee, or he just was in such a rush that he did not have time to talk.
So you're about to take action and roadblocks are getting in the way.
Exactly. Exactly.
That happens.
Yeah. So when that happened, I was like, you know what, whatever. It might not be. And so I continue as is, and I'm working one day, and then in the corner of my eye, I see his G-Wagon coming into the drive-thru. So I saw Marty with this girl, and I was like, fuck, okay, I have to do it. So I went up to him because I knew if I asked him and he said no, you know, her opinion of him might change and not for the better. So I was like, you know what, screw it. Went up, I took over the window, I gave the drinks for free, said, Marty, have a great day. By the way, do you have time next week for a shadowing session? I want to come in and see how you work. If you have 30 minutes, half an hour, a call, I don't care. I just want to see how you do business. He's like, Jack, call me tomorrow. We'll figure out a time. And so I call him tomorrow, 15 minutes ahead of time. He's like, oh, great, awesome. And then we set up an appointment and then came in for one session. One session led to two. And then a week later after that, I started my real estate course with no idea how anything worked. I had to do it.
This is for me.
Yeah.
This is for me.
Yeah.
So why don't we fast forward to you are working with Marty Weight.
Yeah.
You know, some people might think, oh, wow, you became a realtor, life is good. But I heard you were his gopher for a long time.
Yeah.
So he didn't just fast forward you or give you a shortcut straight into a career. You had to do some dirty work before you became, well, first of all, you weren't licensed.
Nope.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when I was doing my course, I was checking up with him periodically. It's like, hey, I passed this exam. Hey, I did that. And then I finally finished my course.
Okay.
And the day that I got my final exam, my math exam from Le Collège de Mobiles Québec, it passed. I got all my credits. Boom, done. Go. I was like, next step. What do I gotta do? Okay, first of all, I gotta freak out. So I freaked out. I was like, I passed everything. I was like, finally. I was like screaming in my Honda Fit that I had at the time.
I'm happy.
I was like, I did it finally. And so then I was like, you know what? I gotta go see Marty.
Okay.
His office was right down the street from the Starbucks that I worked at. So I drove down.
Good for you.
And I went to the office. It's like, hey guys, still in Starbucks here, black shirt, black pants, reeking of coffee. And I was like, is Marty here? I have some news. He's like, no, he's not. I think he's going to be here later today. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me know when he's here. I leave. And then one of the guys at the office is like, hey Jack, Marty's here. Turned around, drove back. I walked in. I saw him. He was talking to Chris, which is his like number two, his best friend. And I was like, Marty, do you have 5 minutes? I got to talk to you. And he's like, yeah, what's up? Go into his office. I'm like, listen, I passed my exam.
Yeah.
I passed all my exams. I got my results right here. I can show you. I don't have my license yet, but I want to work for you. It's you or no one else. Like it's you or bust. Like I don't know anyone else. It's just you. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I'll take anything. Like I don't care if it's 5 hours a week, if it's one shift in the morning, if you need me to come unlock the doors, I don't care.
You wanted this.
I wanted to work for him. And he's like, okay, how about 40 hours a week as my personal assistant? How about that? And
so what did that look like?
That looked like basically just being his gopher. Go here, go there, do this, do that.
What?
Like putting up his for sale signs, putting up his sold signs, doing his open house prep, helping the agents on the team, doing flyers, getting paperwork needed for him, refilling, I went to go pick up his car once, cleaning his car, putting gas in his car. When he had a really busy day with appointments, like during peak of COVID with all like the big real estate boom, he was like, Jack, I don't have time to go fill up my car. I have 30 minutes. I have this meeting. Go fill up my car. Go clean it. Come back.
Did you ever complain?
No.
Not once?
Not once. I would show up an hour ahead and then stay an hour late.
When you really believe in something, you're going to do whatever it is you need to do to make sure you accomplish that goal. If it's working 40 hours, if it's being a gopher, if it's shadowing for free, you'll do what you have to do to get to that level, to learn as well from the experience of others. People have done it before you. An education like that is priceless. So if you gotta move a couple of boxes and wash someone's car, but in exchange, you're getting experience, then that's what you do, my friends. That's what you do, just like Jack did.
Yes.
So how long did you work as his gopher?
I was his gopher for a year straight.
A year as a gopher.
Yeah.
Then what happens next?
So as I was doing that, I was waiting for my OECQ.
So far.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
You passed your exam.
I passed the schooling. I still had to do the OACIQ.
You're studying for OACIQ,
Yes.
so you're studying for this that we, everyone, all the fans know the state exam.
Yes.
You're studying for the provincial exam.
Yes.
And you're a gopher at the same time.
Yep.
Working 40 hours a week, so you're back to work. You're a worker.
Yeah.
How long was that from passing the course to getting your license?
I'd say a good 4 to 5 months.
Okay, good. So 4 to 5 months, you're a gopher.
Yeah. And
Then what happened?
And then I got my real estate license. So
And you were still a gopher after
I was
that?
still a gopher, yeah, for another 6 months, yeah.
So year long, you have your license. So for 6 months, you have your license and you're still working as a gopher.
And doing my own transactions at the same time.
Very impressive. So what happens next?
So after that, I was working for him, helping the team the best way I could, trying to support them as much as possible, and doing my own stuff on the side, and trying to also live my life as 20 years old. Like I'm 20, I'm young.
At this point, you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
What did your parents think?
So at the beginning, when I told them I was like, I'm gonna be a real estate agent, my parents were not okay with it. They were like, I'm their little boy, I'm their first kid. They want me to make sure I'm secure and safe, and I have a good life. And my dad was like, I want to go. He wants me to go to business school for like 4 years, and I'm like, no.
So it's funny because as a nurse, it was okay.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't a university degree being a nurse, but as a nurse, it's okay in their mind. But real estate agent, cheesy salesman, maybe like they don't see it as a true profession.
Well, I wouldn't say that. They're like the biggest supporters. Like they are for sure the people, like if there's someone that has a profession that needs to go to school, they see it as a real job. Like, cooks.
They see it as you need to go to university to have a real job. They were worried about you.
They want me to get an education.
They weren't judgmental.
No.
They were worried
Yeah.
that because you weren't going to get an education, you weren't going to have the proper opportunities offered to you in life.
Yeah.
And becoming a realtor.
Yeah. And like, as my parents, my mom, especially as a mother, she wanted to make sure I had all the opportunities, like,
So in their head, because becoming a realtor does not require a college education,
yeah,
it's not university
it's
education.
Not a traditional career path. Let's put it like that.
Okay.
So
they were worried.
They were worried. They were scared. They were stressed. Like so much has happened in the last 2 years. They're like, "Are you sure this is the right step for you?" And I was like, at the worst case, what do I lose? I lose 6 months and I lose some money, but I'd rather do that than plug in for another 4 years at a school that I don't even want to be at. So my dad, I was like, Dad, like, listen, I'm not going to go back to school for business. He's like, why not? I was like, look at legit all the billionaires, all the millionaires. Most of them that run a business or are in sales, they never went to school. Marty didn't go to school for, sales. Like he was knocking on doors selling security systems, home security systems before real estate. He was knocking Christmas morning. He knocked on Patrick Patello, his best friend, who's also a notary in Gatineau, and was like, what are you doing here? Like, it's Christmas morning. Marty's like, I got to make money. He's like, go do real estate.
Yeah.
And then that's how I got to start. He went to go do his course, and then within 2 months, he got 25 sales.
Wow, but forget about him. We want to know about you.
Yeah.
So mom and dad are worried.
Yeah.
But you're still crushing it.
Yeah.
But you're still a gopher.
Yeah. So the fact that I had that, they were less worried.
Okay.
I had a salary coming in. I had money. It wasn't
the fact
all,
that you were a gopher was good for them.
Yeah. It was like, what? Jack's making money. He's suited up every single day. He doesn't complain. He comes in. He goes up. He leaves early. He comes back late. By the first month, my dad was like, he's fine.
Okay.
My mom, it took a bit.
Yeah.
As, she worries a lot, but I love her to death. And she's like, it got to a point where I was like, okay, he's fine.
So when did you go from gopher to go-to real estate agent in your area?
Yeah. So I was doing it for a year, and it got to a point where, 2023 hit, and I was like, you know what?
Which was last year.
Last year, yeah. last year, beginning of 2023.
So at this point, you are 21.
Yeah.
21 years old.
Yeah, 21 years old. And I was like, you know what? Like, I got into real estate to make a crap load of money.
Yeah.
To provide the best life for myself and my future family and my current family. My mom, my dad, I want to retire them.
And Marty was happy. You were his gopher and you're doing
Exactly.
a great job.
Yeah.
He was comfortable. He wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah. And he's like, and the way that he looked at it is like, if I can get Jack to be a top producing agent, everybody wins.
Right.
So when 2023 rolled around, I had a lot of changes in my life. I had, friendships that fizzled away. I had, like a bunch of stuff happen. And I was like, you know what? I'm stressing over small stuff and I'm doing this and I don't want to do this anymore. Because, after a year of doing running after yourself, I was like, if I do 40 hours a week for my own business, I could be crushing it.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm done. So I went up to Marty and I was like, listen, here's my 2 weeks. Thank you so much. I'm going to do real estate full time now. Like 2023 starts, new year, new me. I'm doing this.
Like I'm done with the gopher salary.
Yeah.
I'd rather be at zero,
Yeah.
but pursue this career, this
Yeah.
profession, this
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And
So no safety blanket.
I had-
no safety net.
I had $5,000 in my account and I had 2 deals closing in the next 6 months when I give my 2 weeks. And I said, listen, you need me to train anyone? I'll train them. But 2 weeks from now, I'm done. He's like, all right. So that 2 weeks came up and I was like, I just started hustling. I door knocked, I cold called, I followed up with clients, asked for referrals from banks. My parents were big advocates. They were screaming my name out to the high heavens about like.
So what was your best lead generation source when you started real estate full time?
I would say it would be definitely referrals from family and friends and door knocking.
Good for you. So door knocking. See, a lot of real estate agents that I coach hate door knocking.
Best thing you can do.
Tell me why
it's
you
the
think
best
it's the
thing.
best.
All right. So imagine you're a homeowner.
Yeah.
And like, let's in Montreal, Westmount.
I am a homeowner.
Yeah,
I'm a homeowner.
Yeah, you're a homeowner.
Yeah.
You live, you got this beautiful house. Everyone's selling around them. You're probably getting constantly bombarded with either flyers or phone calls to your line, or just you're just getting bombarded by people. And then you're like, screw this. I don't want to deal with the real estate agents. And then a real estate agent shows up to your door, and it's a young guy. He's suited up. It's -30 right now. And
you're out there.
And I'm out there and I'm door knocking. And he's like, wow, this kid's a hustler. I want him to sell my house.
That's right. And you're in front of the prospect.
Yeah. So they can't be rude to me. They can't hang up on me. They can slam the door in my face, but it's Canada. Not that many people are assholes. Like it's also Gatineau. It's pretty family friendly.
Yeah.
So like no one's
place.
like a big, pain
Jerk.
No one's a jerk really.
There's no serial killers, nothing.
No, not really. Not really. No, it's pretty calm area. And so, to give you an example, and for all your clients coaching, and for anyone out there that doesn't want to do door knocking, do it. You're literally, it's either you sit on your phone all day or you go door knock. Go door knock. My first ever door that I knocked, I listed a house for $900,000.
Yeah.
And then I sold it in 3 months.
How much money did you make?
It was a double representation at the time.
So that was like a 9 times 4 or 9 times 5?
It was, we've sold it at 840 because of negotiations.
Yeah, so you listed it at $900,000.
Yeah, and then we did
You sold it at $840,000.
Yeah.
And you took both sides of the commission.
Yeah.
So how much was that?
It was about $10,000
For you?
For me. Yeah,
because I had to share with your team. Oh.
No, well, I have to share. I have to give a cut to Marty
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that was after his cut.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with the sellers to make that happen, because it was either that price or the buyers were going to walk away.
Yeah.
And the contract was coming up, and my sellers wanted to sell, but he's like, Jack, if you don't sell this, we're going to rent it out or go with someone else.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
So you did what you had to do.
yeah. So I was like, some money is better than no money.
Yeah.
And at that time I had one transaction closing.
Right.
So I was like, fuck, I got to make money.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what?
But we don't suggest you do that.
No. If you can make as much profit in your pockets, it's important, because your time is the only thing that you can't buy back. Exactly. But at the end of the day, some money's better than no money. That's what was my mentality at the time. And it still is. But yeah.
So how much time after you gave your resignation as gopher did you make the next transaction?
That was actually the next transaction.
How long did it take?
That was, I want to say 2 months.
So 2 months in,
Yeah.
you're probably getting desperate. You're like, oh my God, I only have 2 closings in May.
Freaking out.
I need to make money.
Yeah.
But you got it.
Yeah.
2 months later.
Yeah.
So after all is said and done, you become a full-time real estate agent.
Yeah.
So we're about March, you said?
Yep. I'd say about March.
By December, how much did you make in commissions?
I made over 6 figures.
So you made over $100,000 from March to December.
Yeah.
21 years
21,
old.
22 years old. Yeah. Yeah.
How did that feel?
Surreal. Honestly, that was an insane goal that I had for myself. Like as I was younger, I tried not to let that influence me or get it to my head. I try to stay humble as much as I can, but 22 years old, 21 years old, making over $100,000 in a year from sales.
From serving coffee
Yeah.
to making $100,000 as a real estate professional.
Yeah.
What did you do with your first commission check?
Paid off some debt.
Paid off your credit cards.
Paid off my credit cards, repaid my student loans that I had, and just started investing in myself, really. I bought 3 suits, actually. It was the 3
it's a
suits.
nice one you're wearing right now.
Thank you. This was actually one of the very first ones I bought.
Welcome to spring. I love it.
Yeah. So the first suit, actually, my mother bought me.
Aww.
Yeah. She's like, I can't help much. This is the way I can help you.
That's
and
so
by
nice.
not charging me rent and letting me stay home.
Very
So that's
nice.
another
So are
thing.
you still living home?
Yep. Still
Yes.
live at home.
Smart kid.
Yep. Still live at home.
Smart. He's making $100K and living with mom and dad. It's already almost done the first quarter.
Yeah.
Where are you at right now?
Right now, I'm just trying to get back in the groove of things with everything, falling with clients. I closed a deal, was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, deal 2 weeks ago. And it's just like with everything now, like last year with the high interest rates, being like 7%. Now we're seeing a lot of people coming back into Gatineau. Like people are starting to wake up, tax season's over, Christmas, all that stuff. So it's like right now, it's like, the team's having a really good start. I'm having a good start as well. It's just getting back into the groove of things, honestly. It's about going back to visits, doing open houses as much as possible.
And the market's great.
Yeah.
Prices of homes are up, and interest rates are stable.
Yeah.
And rumor has it they're going to go down.
Yeah.
So I do see the market picking up.
Yeah. And especially in Gatineau, we're so close to Ottawa that our prices are like $100,000 cheaper than Ottawa.
Exactly.
The average home in Gatineau is about $450,000.
While in Ottawa, it's about 600.
$550 to $600.
Which is the capital of Canada. Yeah. Ottawa is the capital, and he works right next to the capital.
Yeah. I also do deals in Ottawa.
Of course, back and forth. He does Ottawa and Gatineau.
I have a partner. He helps me out, and we do both sides. So, yeah.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. So, where do you go from here? What does the future look like for you, Mr. Jack Hugh?
So, I could give you the business plans, and I can give you the personal ones. Business ones, obviously, I want to
Isn't
improve.
Business personal?
It is, but I have a wonderful girlfriend at home.
Aw, nice.
Her name's Genevieve. She's been my rock for a while now.
Very nice.
She helps me come back to reality because I tend to just go, brain
That's
goes
okay.
everywhere.
Yin to yang.
Yeah, exactly. So she's been like super, super instrumental to my growth and stabilization. And with the next goals, I just want to, improve my business, help my clients more. Improve my life as best as I can. I want to buy a house this year.
Good for you. That's a great goal.
Yeah, so I'm looking at some stuff right now and, trying to find the best deal for me and try to improve my life as much as possible to better myself. Because when you take care of yourself, you can take care of others around you.
Very nice. And do you think you want to stay in the team with Marty forever, or do you want to go on your own?
Well, Marty knows that my intentions are to, improve as much as possible. I'm sure you can understand as well, like, for anyone, if you have anyone under you, you want them to be better than you.
Yeah.
My parents have that same mentality. It's like, okay, I want my kids to do better than me.
Yeah.
And Marty, I see him as a mentor. He's helped me so much. And I'm sure he wants me to succeed way more than the platform that he has. I can go over and be like, listen, I did this because of him. This man helped me. And, one day I would love to have my own team and, do my own thing, maybe here in Montreal, maybe in Quebec City, maybe go to Ontario, go to Ottawa, or heck, maybe move to the States. There's that opportunity, or, just do my own thing and have opportunities that, I've never been able to experience before. That's one thing as well, is just try to have as much freedom as possible.
Absolutely, because true freedom is doing what you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want.
Yeah.
and that is freedom. And, you know, guys, money might not be everything, but it sure does help.
It does.
Another thing I noticed is that you respect education. I met you at a big super conference for real estate agents.
Yeah.
Do you think that realtors should be continuing their education?
Yes, yeah, always, 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 always. I said, like, you know, with school, it didn't work for me, but it, you know, works for other people. And, you know, with the ADHD and you know, dyslexia and all that stuff, I can't focus. So for realtors, when it comes to improving themselves, I would always say jump at the opportunity to get a coach, get you know, get an accountability partner, and just invest in yourself in sales or in anything.
Because I saw you know, you're only 22 years old,
Yeah.
and there you were at the conference.
Yeah.
Good for you. You take yourself seriously. This is not a fly-by-night business.
No.
This is your profession, and you are a professional.
You have to bet on yourself because that's all you can rely on, really.
Jack, thank you so much for visiting us at our humble offices.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
You are a true inspiration.
Thank you.
And if anybody has any questions for you, how do they reach out to you?
So you can follow me at Instagram, Jack Hugh, JACKHUGH.remax. You can call me at 873-353-3111 or send me an email. Just search me up, Jack Hugh Real Estate Gatineau. All my info is there. And yeah.
And guys, if you want more real estate stories just like this one, don't forget to subscribe.